We have an exciting afternoon planned, and I appreciate your coming to the Low-Link Speaker Series. And this is our second time this year. We've been able to launch an event, and really love having you come and join us. And we'll have something every month, hopefully. That's our plan. And we've got an excellent speaker today. And wanted to just mention to you about Low-Link. Those of you who aren't as familiar with it as others, I do have some brochures over there that you can pick up on the way out, and where any of us are glad to talk with you more about it. But our service is a voluntary service with some support along the way to help members stay in their homes as long as possible. And the older adults, we provide services such as transportation, friendly visits, light home maintenance, social activities, lots of things to help the older adult be comfortable and be able to stay in their home safely, independently, but also interdependently. So this one thing we like to do is to work together with other agencies and organizations and partnerships. And the Rapidan Community Services Board, who is represents our speaker this afternoon, it's part of the Office on Aging. So we have a special link to that in addition to what I called the agency for this time was really would like to have a speaker talk about mental health. This seemed like a good time for an interlude to have a presentation on mental health and how that might be a benefit to us. And I got a hold of Alan, and he was most gracious to agree to come. And so Alan Rasmussen is our speaker this afternoon, and he's the manager of the prevention area. So he's not in the older adult area that we use for aging services so much, as far as helping us with guidance with Medicare and other things that we've used the service for, his organization. He's in the prevention, and particularly in the suicide prevention area and mental health. So I know that you're going to enjoy Alan's presentation today.
Emily, I appreciate that. And thank you. That was an outstanding introduction. I appreciate that. And I don't mind saying, I remember the call when the agency said, hey, there's a lady trying to reach somebody that needs a presentation. They gave me the information, and I called Emily and got to talking with her. And so we were, figuring out what would be a good presentation, what exactly she was looking for. But I can tell you, I connected with Emily from the get-go. And so I'm glad to be over here to be with you, be with the group. And I can tell you, I'm one of these people, I like to feel things, and I can feel you. You guys are an awesome group. I can feel it. I'm glad to be here today. So my name is Alan Rasmussen, and I would like to say this about prevention. I'm in my own type unit. I'm with our RCS big time, and they support prevention big time. But I've worked with all ages. When you talk about prevention, to me it's about heading things off before they happen. So I think in any age group, we get a lot of attention with young people and different age groups, but I do prevention work with everybody, and I'm excited to be here today. I do want to say this about this presentation. Years ago, I went to a workshop with my former supervisor. He's no longer there. But when we finished this workshop on resiliency, I remember telling him, this is, I know, about 17 or 18 years ago. I told him, his name was John, we have to go back to Culpeper and the surrounding counties we serve and tell everybody about resiliency. And I was moved after I went to this workshop. And I can tell you, I'm not always like that. I sometimes go and I go, okay. When I left there, I was charged up. And so when I left there, I put together a presentation. I've been doing this everywhere I can, and I'm telling you, it's a presentation that I not only talk about, I live it, I embrace it. This is one of these tools for a tool belt. It can become a lifestyle for you. I'm going to talk today about characteristics of resilient people. And all of these characteristics are characteristics you can work on, you can develop, you can improve. If you have them, that's great. Then build on the others. But we'll talk about this in depth, and you can use it. And I hope you do. I really hope by the time I'm done with this presentation, you do it. So let me, I wanted to mention this too. I've been doing a lot of presentations, so some of you got that handout on the table. I hope you get it. This is a list of online presentations I've done, and if you asked me 5-10 years ago, but I have a whole list of online presentations you can see, I would have said, no, I doubt that. But with the Zoom, I got connected with Virginia Cooperative Extension. They do a Balancing Life series of trainings, and the first one they asked me to do was on resiliency. After I did that, they said, we got to have this guy back. We want to do more. So it's resulted in about 12 presentations that are all related to watching out for one another, building resiliency. They're all in here. If you get a chance and you get on the computer, you can watch them and hear them. And I've already told Emily and the group that I will be back anytime you want me. I can feel what you're doing here. So let me, I like this title, Building Resiliency in Challenging Times. I would guess, I don't like guessing, but I'm thinking big time, we all know that we've been living in challenging times. And it seems like the challenges, once you seem like you're starting to get control of one, something else pops up. And I don't fall apart about things. That's what's great about resiliency. Resilient people, they're going to take things on. That's what you're going to learn today. That's what I'm going to talk about, so we don't fall apart. But I would say you guys would agree we're living in challenging times. Is that, you agree? Yeah. So I'm going to help you with that. And so I do a blend. This is one presentation. I do others that build on this. But I'm going to talk about this resiliency. So, when I talk to groups, a lot of times, I always like to ask, what is resiliency? And try to get a definition or an understanding of what it is. So I'm going to ask you. Let's say I don't know anything about it. What is resiliency to you? How would you describe or tell me about it? What do you think when you hear resiliency?
Bouncing back.
Bouncing back. And that's, typically everybody says that, you're bouncing back. So what are we bouncing back from?
Bad situations.
Bad situations. Not typically something that was good that went on. So it's probably adversity, right? Maybe something that's a bad situation. And I'm going to play with that a little bit. I keep my mind on it because sometimes I think if we overdo something good too much, maybe we are going to have to bounce back from that too. I don't know. Maybe I could work that in there. But typically, it's a bad situation. That's why you hear challenging times. I got to tell you, you can hear me. I don't like getting into the adversity or that talk like that. You have to use it. But I like challenges because it brings on that energy. If I'm going to take this on, if there's a competitive edge and you have it, I'm going to take this challenge on. And that's that resiliency spirit. But anyway, what else about resiliency? Bouncing back from bad...
Wouldn't there be something like being flexible and adapting to the bad situation happening at the moment?
This is why I like asking questions. And yes, if you look at a characteristic of a resilient person, they are definitely flexible. And I have a segment in this presentation I think you're going to like about paradoxical personality traits, that help you be flexible. And you use that flexibility given the situation you're in. No doubt about it. Outstanding point. And I'm going to harp in on that when we're doing a presentation. Anybody else? Yes.
Understanding the crises and then trying to deal with it, but taking the negative and try to turn around and get it into the positive.
Yes, I love that because you're going to hear about positive emotions versus negative emotions. When you have those negative emotions, it puts kind of a clamp on our mind. We can't think clearly, that kind of thing. So definitely, you could call it reframing. And it's legitimate stuff. It's not just smoke and mirrors. So we can be positive. Positive emotions make a big difference in negative situations, and not quit. I'm here and there, and we're not going to let a bad situation beat us down. Resilient people, they fight, they persevere, they're persistent, and they get things done. So I love what you're saying, and let me just throw this definition up here, and I think it ties into exactly what you're saying. A person's ability to absorb high levels of disruptive change, bounce back like you're talking about, and even excel in times of change and uncertainty. Now, I want you to think about that a bit. You don't typically hear that when something bad's going on. Hey, I'm going to excel in times of change and uncertainty. I know a lot of people, when there's uncertainty going on, there's change, they fall apart. But you're going to, with this information, if you embrace it and live it, you'll excel during those times. You'll learn, you'll grow, you'll evolve. And so that's the power of being resilient. We're going to talk about that too. And that's without acting in dysfunctional ways. Now that's an interesting point there. What am I talking about there? So, and I love to talk about reaction patterns. I'm going to do that in a minute. Emotional reaction patterns. I do some counseling work. I do prevention work. I've had a history in parole work and things like that. But have you ever acted or reacted like this when something goes on?
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm glad to hear you laughing, because sometimes it's quiet and I think, oh my gosh, am I the only person that's reacted like that before? So, or you do this, I've had it, boom, now I feel pretty good, but that's a short-term feeling. We'll talk about that. So, I love the laughter. I like to put in humor. I never practical joke, that can get you hurt, but it's good. I'm going to get you laughing today. That's my hope, to have you laugh and leave here today with something you can use. So goals. What are goals of, if we do this stuff, we embrace it, what are goals of resiliency? What are we trying to accomplish? You'll develop skills that increase your mental and emotional strength for life's daily challenges. Now here you go, I'm not saying life's daily setbacks or disasters, challenges. We'll be ready to take it on. And mental is how we think, how we process what goes on, and if we have those positive emotions, we think a lot clearer, we can see light instead of darkness. And then our emotional strength, we're talking about those emotional reaction patterns. I'm going to talk about all that, and so it's important. You'll increase your mental and emotional strength to take on whatever life throws at you. You'll be able to bounce back from disruptive life changes and function in this world of change. There is change. We know that. And it took me a while to learn that, because once I get something going well, I think, man, I hope it just stays like this. This is fantastic. But boom, something goes on, and that's life. There's always changes. So we're going to talk about that. You'll develop confidence to know that you can handle whatever the future may bring. You can go to bed at night, you got something on your mind, you can say, hey, I know when I get up, I'll be able to handle this, I'll take it on. I don't have to worry about what's coming. I've got the skills, the characteristics, I can handle whatever comes. And is that powerful or not? I mean, that's pretty powerful to me, because sometimes I used to wake up and I'm thinking, man, what's going to go on tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. But now I know whatever comes, I'm going to be ready to handle it. I got the skills, I can take it on. You'll gain strength from adversity. You take that challenge on, you move through it, you pat yourself on the back, that positive self-talk, and you celebrate what you did. So you gain strength out of these challenges. And you'll turn emotionally toxic situations into what I call emotionally nutritious experiences. Sounds like something you can eat and enjoy, doesn't it? Right? So I love to hear the laughter. I love that. That means a lot to me. So some emotional reaction patterns. I told you I was going to talk about this. And when I do this talk, a lot of times people say, hey, I need that slide. If I get anything, I want the slide. They'll copy it and they'll put it on a wall. So they'll study where they are when something goes on emotionally. So let me show you what I'm talking about. How we react emotionally when something goes on. So adversity or challenges. And let me tell you, depending on who I'm talking to, if I'm doing counseling, I'm doing another presentation, whatever the topic is, you can change what is in that red box. I mean, I've got like 10 things I put in there, okay? So what are challenges? We can think of a lot of challenges. Whatever the challenge is, and it can come daily, is an adversity, a challenge. How do we react emotionally? We can get angry. Now I'm going to give you a tip. You're going to see red, you're going to see green. You know, red means stop, right? You know what I mean? So we're a stop light, go light. And so when you see green, you're moving in the right direction. This is a flow chart. So let's say there's an adversity, a challenge. You can get angry. You know, I don't know about you. In my younger days, man, a lot of times I'd fly out, oh, what in the world, why? You know, and who knows what would come down the pipe with me. But I'd realize that's not getting me anywhere. I need to stop. So I'm just telling you, you take this in and study it, and you can do this today, what I'm going to show you. But sometimes people get angry, they explode. That's not going to move you forward. We're talking about with resiliency, moving forward, you know, bouncing back, moving forward. The train's going this way, you know. We want to be on it. We don't want to be walking backwards on the train. It's going this way, right? So we got to go with it. You're not going anywhere by getting angry. You can control this stuff. You can start right now. You can go numb. You can just take it inside, let it boil around and stir you up. And you know what happens with that? What happens if you don't process something and deal with it? And bury it inside you? What can happen?
Get an ulcer.
You can get an ulcer. Huh?
It'll come out
You can
another
get,
way.
you can what?
It'll come out another way.
I like that too. You can get sick, and I mean sometimes bad sicknesses. You can get heart problems, cancer. If you let this stuff go on and on and on, it can work you up.
Depression.
The mental health piece of it, you can get depressed and feel hopeless. And let me tell you, this is why I was telling Emily, I tie this presentation into suicide prevention work I do. Because I teach people to be resilient so they can see the light. Even if it's like a little match in the darkness, we're going to get out. A little light goes a long way. And then you know you don't know what you might do. You might be numb, and then you go, okay, and then you go to angry and explode. You know, you don't know what'll come out of all this stuff, but it's just not moving forward. I appreciate all that input. So, you can, I see a little green here, let's say bingo, put the foot on the gas pedal. So we can get upset, okay? And so this, I want you to think about anger and upset. People go, what's the difference there? Well, upset is expressing your feelings in a useful way. I don't like what's going on here. My initial reaction is I don't like it. And the word but comes in. But, what am I going to do about it? I heard a presentation the other day, the word but, ... is so powerful, you know, and every I'm going, this is great, because I know what the guy was going to say, because I do it in this presentation. It's always, I'm concerned about that. You don't worry, I'm concerned, but what am I going to do? You know, I'm upset about this, what am I going to do? But, that's when you start to think about options to move forward. You know, coping strategies. How do I get out of this or move through this situation? You know, you got that mind working, going in a resilient direction. So you can make yourself the victim. There's the red light again. I'm not here making anybody victims. I have no training I'm going to do is about making somebody a victim. You hear me? That's that victim blame syndrome and that kind of thing. So you can get upset and you begin to cope. And so what is the cope thing? That's where you develop strategies to move forward. You go, okay, what if I did this? What if I did that? Who can I talk to? What will help me move forward? And so, you know, and again, I use this in counseling. I use it in my own life. You know, if I'm talking to somebody, hey, you used to get angry, you buried stuff. Once they pick up on this mindset that, hey, I can express my feelings, I can get it out, but I just need to do it in a useful way, not tear the room up or yell and scream. Just tell somebody what I feel. And I've had people tell me that's their biggest trigger sometimes, if they can't have someone who understands them. You want to try to surround yourself with people who listen, care, and I'll talk about that later, because then if something's bothering you, you can put it on the table, you can put it out there, somebody will understand it, and they can help you, they get the opportunity. And I've had people say the best thing for them in their whole life is when they feel understood. You hear me? So, hey, what are you feeling? What are you experiencing? Tell me what's going on. And so you feel connected. You can express what you feel. There's hope. The light's on. You're moving forward. So, and then you develop strategies. So you cope. And when you do that, that's a word. Some people don't think it's a word, but resil is the action word for resilience. I had a librarian one time that said, that's not a word. I said, it is a word, man. I'm telling you, go look it up. She walked out of the thing and looked it up and came back, you're right. I said, well, hey, I'm not always right, but I knew that. So once something goes on, you put your feelings out in a useful way. What am I going to do? Come up with strategies. You're beginning to be resilient, okay? And I like that resil. You can make that a song. Resil, I want to feel. You know, I'm waiting for somebody to take that and do something with it, man. We'll get, yeah, we're going to see some games we can make out of this training, too. If we give it Parker Brothers or something, maybe we'll get some real money coming in. So, anyway, so this is when you begin to be resilient. And when you do that, you know, I like the sun. Here's that light. You know, what's better than the sun with a smiley face? You thrive. I'm here to talk about thriving, not surviving. You know, if I did that, we'd have a survival camp or something. What's the worst situation? Let's see if we can just get by. You're going to thrive. You're going to learn and grow and evolve and be stronger and better than before. That's the resiliency mindset. And this chart helps you do it. So think about this. And I'll get the presentation to you. I don't know if everybody's got emails, but you can send this out. You can have this information. And please, always think, man, I made myself, and it was so easy to do. It felt so good. Anytime something goes on, I always go, okay, Alan, where are you, man? Are you bearing it? You taking action to move forward? Are you angry or are you upset? You know, so, and over time, I go boom, 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 and I'm out of there. You know, I'm moving through it. And sometimes I'll say something, but you got to watch this. It's powerful information. I've said to people, I've had some people that I keep talking about resiliency. They go, hey, you keep talking about that stuff. Well, they're not ready to do it. So you got to watch how you use this. It's a powerful tool. And so you don't want to talk about it too much. You do it. And then people start going, hey, you seem to not let things bother you. You move forward. What's going on? Well, I'm going to slip the word out. I'm trying to be resilient. And, you know, so how do you do that? Let's talk about it. You know, so it works. I'm telling you right now. So you can see from that chart, reaction patterns, emotional states do affect a person's ability to be resilient, to bounce back, move forward through anything going on. Positive emotions, like we talked about, broaden and strengthen our ability to do that. I love this quote. It's not the situation, it's our response to it. That's why I always like to look at that response. How am I reacting? What am I doing to move forward, to process and go? We can accept responsibility for our reactions. We can do that. This is one tip right now. You can do it right now. You saw the chart. Figure out where you are from this day forward on anything going on. See if you can make that change. You can do it. You're in charge. You can do it. So what did I learn from this? You know, resilient people are analytical. I love analysis. You take information, compare it, and come to some conclusions. And you're talking about interdisciplinary studies. You do a lot of that analytical thinking in there. So, and that's what resilient people do. You know, they'll go, what did I learn from this? What could I do different? What could I modify? How can I get better? You know, they're always tweaking that. They're not OCD. You know, to an extreme, or maybe they like to make sure they're doing it, but they're not going to get sick over it. They're just going to look at it, take it in, make some changes. And that's not saying anything about OCD people, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it's that you just process it. Make yourself embrace it and do it, and it works. So keep a good spirit. Always keep that good energy, man. It helps you. Positive emotions, they help you move forward. So, positive emotions. Let's talk about some of these feelings of enjoyment. Playfulness. You know, not practical joking, like I said, but playfulness. Contentment. Laughing. I love laughter. Satisfaction. Warm relationships. Love. Affection. Those are all nice, aren't they? You feeling pretty good about that? I mean, just saying it makes me relax. I feel pretty good. Now, I hate to bust that bubble because I'm going to give you some of these negative emotions, and then my neck's going to get tight again. So, anyway, anxiety. You know, worrying. You know, anxiety, worrying versus concern. You know, I'm concerned about this, but anxiety is just the worrying. And so, fear. Think about that, what that does, when the blinders start to go and you can't think clearly. Anger, vulnerability. I feel vulnerable. Man, that can make you nervous, you know, and that increases anxiety. These all feed on each other. Helplessness, negative emotions, what do? We talked about those blinders. They narrow a person's range of thoughts and it limits action choices. They cannot think as clearly as if they're having positive emotions. They can think clearly, come up with some decisions, seek help, make things happen. The blinders go on here and it limits action choices. So we want to, you know, I like that meditation stuff. Carry those positive emotions with you every day the best you can. Watch the emotional reaction patterns, you know, and pat yourself on the back. I do a lot of, look at that list. You'll see a lot of presentations about that information too. This is my core presentation. I build everything else off of this. You know, how to build friendships, how to relieve stress, how to do anything. And this is the core piece. So problem solving. When you experience positive emotions, it opens your mind to a broad range of new ideas and possible courses of action. Think about that. We do have to problem solve. We have to take care of business. So we're having those positive emotions. We can think of options. We can begin to use this information, move forward. Positive emotions do increase resiliency. And when you experience those positive emotions each day, they do enhance your ability to do problem solving and solve what's going on. Come to action choices. It works. When you're faced with adversity, your mind and habits. We got to think about how we think, habits that we've learned over the years, how we react, respond. Your mind and habits will create either barriers, walls that you can't get through, or bridges to a better future. I like the bridges. You can't go through these walls with so much, you know, you're not going to make it. You get on that bridge, you can go to the other side, you can relax, you can move forward in the right direction. I'm talking about moving forward in the right direction, always in the right direction. So resiliency can be learned and develops out of practice. I love that. You don't have to be born resilient, you can become resilient. And I'm going to give you information to work on. I love that. The struggle to bounce back and recover from setbacks can lead to developing strengths and abilities you did not know were possible. We learn stuff about ourselves. When we're going through adversity, we learn, you know, do we crumble? Do we have strength? When you move forward, maybe you did something, man, I didn't know that was in me. You know, that felt good. So you want to pat yourself on the back, celebrate the wonderment of that, and keep moving forward. And if you're struggling, you know, we'll talk about that, where you can get help and things like that too. So, what is a paradox? I'll give you, I'm going to tell you a short story. When my kids, when they were younger, my son came home and said, hey, I got asked to make a list of paradoxes. And I'm going, what's a paradox? So I called a buddy of mine who's into a lot of this stuff. I said, hey, what's a paradox? And, you know, so he told me it's when something can be one way and the opposite. You know, I was trying to get my head around that. So my paradox was a well-known secret agent man. How could you be well-known if you're a secret agent man? That's kind of a paradox, isn't it? So I thought it was pretty good. That's the best I can do. So anyway, so it's when something can be one way and the opposite. And so this is going to tie into your flexibility. You talked about flexibility. This is the essence of flexibility, these paradoxical personality traits. So let me talk. When you look at resilient people, they can have two feelings about everything, and they can be opposite. They don't all, you know that thing, I'm going to think just like that, and I'm not going to change that thinking one way, you know, where that leads you, it can lead you to trouble, you know, that one way, and never having any other options, that singular thinking. So they can bust out of it. They can think like this in one situation, they can think the complete opposite way in another, because they know that's going to get them through that. They're willing to do that. So it's a definition of insanity when you don't do that. Remember that old saying? So they can be one way and the opposite. The more paradoxical personality traits a person has, and I'm giving you the examples in a minute, so don't bear with me. I'm just laying a foundation. I'll get you some concrete information here. But the more paradoxical personality traits a person has, the more flexible they can be. So these increase the chances of successfully handling any situations develop, that's that flexibility piece. So what resilient people do is they become a function of the situation they are in, and then they respond with this flexibility. So let me give you some examples of paradoxical personality traits, so you can get your head around this. And again, here I see this is an opportunity for a game. I'm telling you right now, we should make a game out of this and get rich. We'll call it the paradoxical personality traits game. You know, people go, what is that? You know, but we'll get Parker Brothers in on this thing. Maybe we can get rich. So, serious and playful. Is that one way and the opposite? I mean, generally speaking. So what do you think? If someone's serious all the time, what do you think? What's your reaction to that? Someone's serious all the time.
Pretty boring and uptight.
Boring and uptight.
They don't enjoy anything.
They don't enjoy anything.
Well, sometimes, some people are just like that. I'm serious, sometimes they're really interesting people because they think about unusual things.
See, this is what I'm talking about. So, because what I typically say after serious, boring, and I say, should we take all the serious people in the world and just get rid of them? And people go, oh no, we can't do that. I'm going, wait a minute, you're getting me confused here. Why can't we? I don't hear anything good. But then, you know, if you need something to get done, you're going to get a playful person or a serious person. So yes, it's a good trait, but all the time, it might be too much. Who knows, okay? And so if they're playful all the time.
Drive you crazy.
You might want to rough somebody up or something. Settle down. You know, get serious, right? Drive you nuts. Anybody else on that? Huh? But if you, sometimes it's nice to be around somebody who can be playful, not practical joking, but playfulness. That can be an okay quality, but not all the time, right? So think about blending those two together. Something's going on and you go, oh, I got something I need to handle here. I need to get serious. I can get honest. Let me come up with a plan. Let me develop my strategies. Let me get it done. And while I'm doing it, you know, it might take a while here, so I'm going to take a break, have a little bit of fun, just do something lighthearted so I can re-energize, regroup, go back and work at it so I don't burn myself out, right? So that's just kind of, we could probably use that in life, right? We can be serious, and then remember to re-energize, playfulness, keep our emotional stability in there and happiness, and then go back at it, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. Self-appreciating and self-critical. Self-appreciating, we're probably taught as kids, hey, you don't want to brag about yourself. Don't boast all the time, right? You know, that's going to get you in trouble. And it probably, to this day, I got to tell you the truth, man. I don't know about you, but when somebody brags all the time, it gets a little on your nerves, doesn't it? You know, I mean, am I the only one that feels that way? Or, you know, you feel like saying, hey, wait a minute, let's take a break here. But self-critical, they beat themselves up all the time. And I've seen people do this. They'll do something what I was thinking, you did fantastic, and they'll want to take it apart, go, well, I probably should have done this, and blah, blah. And I'm well known, look, my name is put it on the table. Everybody knows me, I put it right on the table. If I see that, I'm going to go, look, I got to tell you something. This is me. I thought you did a fantastic job. You know, everybody's got a little room for improvement, but I would not beat myself up or anything. You want to go too far on it, that's up to you. But you did a beautiful job, and I'm proud of what you did, and it made a difference. You know, so it's so people can go overboard if they're all self-critical. They'll never see that, hey, I did good stuff. So you mix this together. I'll give you an example today. I'm going to leave here and go and say, okay, how did that presentation go? How did they respond to me? Did it go across well? Could I do better? I'm going to bounce that out. But in the out, if there's something for me to learn, I'll learn it, and I'll make a change. I'm not going to beat myself up, and I don't mind saying, I'm going to go, you know, I felt pretty good about that. If that's what happens today, or whatever I do, it's okay to do a little positive self-talk.
Don't boo him then.
Yeah, and you can, so you can use this right here. This makes sense, doesn't it? Optimistic, pessimistic, same thing. If somebody's optimistic all the time, you're gonna go, hey, wait a minute, man. Everything isn't great all the time. Come on, man, who you fooling? But it's nice to be able to be optimistic, and resilient people are. They are optimistic. But, and then pessimistic, you know what that's like too. You don't, nothing's good, everything's dark, and that kind of thing. But when you blend those together, hey, I can be optimistic, but I'm also gonna look over my shoulder. You know, I'm not a nerve wracker, but I know something that can come at any time. And so I wanna be prepared for that. I'm gonna be alert for it, but I'm gonna be optimistic. So you blend, this is paradoxical living. You blend these together, they work. Angry and forgiving, you can play with this. I'm angry. If you're angry all the time, we saw what that is on that chart. You forgive all the time. Sometimes you can, in some of the work I do, you can become an enabler. You're always not over, look, I'm gonna forgive you, but I would like to see some change. Let's talk about some coping strategies for you to make some changes so we don't keep repeating the same thing over and over again. So you blend that in. Look, I'm not angry, but I'm gonna hold my line on this. This has to change. So that's good stuff. Selfish, unselfish. People never give anything. They're selfish all the time. You do play with these unselfish, you give everything away. I've seen it both ways. When you blend it, I'm gonna take care of myself. I'm gonna take care of this. I got a strategy, whatever. But I'm a giver. I care about people. I don't mind giving some things, but I can't give everything I have away. I don't care if it's material stuff or emotional stuff. You can't go empty on your emotional bank account either. So you have to get fed a little emotional stuff so you can maintain your balance there too and give some away and that kind of thing. So you don't want to be drained. All right, makes sense? Is that good?
Yep.
This is the beauty here to me, trusting and cautious. I always use this in relationship discussions. I hear people say, hey, I want to be in a relationship, I want to love somebody, I want this so bad. They're willing to jump in a lot of times and just trust completely from the get-go. And I always tell people on the cautious side, I learned this a long time ago, and make a list of what you're looking for in another person, what you believe in, that there's something if they're like this, that's somebody I would be close to. Make a list of it. And you can make a list of what you are yourself. So I make my list, and here's what I'm looking for somebody else. So when I'm around other people, I'm going to look for those qualities on that list. Oh, 1, 2, 3. The more I see, the more my trust will grow. The less I see, I'm cutting ties. You know what I mean? You make some decisions. You don't have to hang around that, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you make decisions on that. So that's the way you can help yourself develop and enable healthy relationships. This is what I'm looking for, this is what I need, this is what I'm going to give, and it works like that. So, paradoxical traits. Here's the game I'm talking about. Make a list of all the ways in which you are one way and the opposite. This is something you could do on a Friday night, whatever. Let's make a list. Everybody bring out a piece of paper, and then we'll discuss those. And then the more you have, the better. Validate the opposing qualities. And a group like you have, if you know each other enough, you could say, all right, let's make a list of the ways I'm one way and the opposite, and we can help the other person. I see this about you. You're really flexible. You do this and you do that. So it's a great group exercise too. But anyway, validate those opposing qualities and work to develop as many paradoxical personality traits as you can. That's one way and the opposite there, right? I'm going to try. I'm going to get a better laugh out of you in a minute. So I like this look. I like a little humor. So I thought that's pretty good. All right, so let's talk about this optimism. All right, we mentioned it earlier. So this is a great one. This is the essence of optimism if I've ever heard it. Look, I want you to read this. 85-year-old man looking for a long-term relationship. Right? Is that optimism? Yeah. Okay, now I'm getting closer. I got something better. Yeah, I got something better coming too. So,
for it.
resilient people, they think like this: the difficulty is temporary. They go, okay, well, I'm going to find a way to move through this thing. It's temporary. I know that sometimes there are some problems that I don't wanna get, overstep, because sometimes there's some problems that can be there that are not temporary, and we have to learn to cope, manage, and move through them, okay? So I'm not that limited in my thinking, but they try to say it's limited to this situation. I'm gonna find a way to cope with it. Whatever it is, I'm gonna find a way to cope with it and move forward. You know, those strategies. Go back to that chart. Skip anger, don't go numb, don't give up. What can I do? Express your feelings in a useful way, come up with a plan, and do the best you can do. Sometimes it boils down to that, you know what I mean? So, optimism, when you're optimistic, think about this, you have better energy. I mean, don't you? When you're feeling optimistic, hey, I feel like I'm alive, there's hope, there's life. You feel more self-confident. You look forward to the future, and you do not feel trapped or discouraged. Okay? There's light. We can move forward. And something you can do, just reflect on how optimism has helped you through difficult times in the past, or someone you know, their optimistic attitude, personality trait, how it helped them. All right, so there's that's one of my bosses, man. That's what I'm. All right, so let me ask you this: what do you?
I don't like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here to talk about stress a little bit, okay? So how many people in here feel like you have been or are stressed, experience stress? You ever experience stress?
Oh,
Okay, I'm at work. Everybody's going, what's wrong with this guy? Of course I have, you know, so look, I'm just telling you, resilient people have a different look at stress. And I want to share this with you, okay? It's called taking charge of your life. I think it's a simple process. I think it works, and I'm going to share it with you, okay? So, but I'm going to give you a test beforehand. I want to see in here who is legitimately stressed, and then if we need to do something about that, I'm ready to help. So here's a little stress test. You're going to see a photo in a second that has two identical dolphins in it. Okay, it's going to be a photo of two identical dolphins. It was used in a case study on stress level at St. Mary's Hospital. Please look at both of the dolphins jumping out of the water in this next picture. The dolphins are identical. A closely monitored scientific study of a group revealed that in spite of the fact that the dolphins are identical, a person under stress would find differences in the two dolphins. Yeah, stress can affect you like that. So if there are many differences found between both dolphins, it means that the person is experiencing a great amount of stress. Okay? Now look at the photograph. If you find more than one or two differences, you may want to seek help or take a vacation. I'm here. I can link you to crisis services. We'll make it happen. All right, you ready for the test?
Ready.
You ready? Here we go.
We're ready.
Ready to sign up.
I want an appointment now.
That's right. Have some laughter I like. I love that laughter. That's good stuff. I love this, man. So, anyway, let me tell you this. I'm going to talk about taking charge. This is resiliency thinking right here, okay? I want to talk about strain versus stress. You know, resilient people, they don't really believe in stress. They believe anything going on is strain. You're being strained. And out of the strain, you can learn, you can grow, you can evolve, and become stronger. Just like the athletes. You know what athletes do? They start off the season, they work out, they strain their muscles, they rest and recover. It gets stronger. They come back. And you probably, if you've ever done something like that, and spring's coming on, we probably will get out and start doing some things. But you know, I don't know about you, if my muscles will get sore, and I'll think, oh my gosh, man, and I'll take a break, and then I go back, oh, I can do a little more of this, and I keep doing it. Wow, I'm really in good shape again. You know, so you strain those muscles, let them rest and recover, and they get stronger. That's strain, okay? And so stress, again, here, strain strengthens and challenges you. Okay, strain strengthens and challenges you. Stress is your reaction to things. You know, you saw it on that chart. That's a victim blame syndrome. Clear as a bell. I'm not here to make people victims. Here's a simple process. Look at what you are responsible for in your life. Okay, me, I like to get pads out. I make lists, so I'll put a legal pad. I like big pads because I like to write on there. So I'm going to put, what am I responsible? Responsibilities. And I'm going to list things that I am responsible for. Not someone else and I'm doing it for them, but what I'm responsible. And if I'm supposed to do it, I need to do it, then that's a responsibility. Fine and dandy. But write down what you're responsible for, okay? And then engage that. Take a break, just like that athlete. Go back at it, do it. Rest and recover, go back at it. Over time, you're going to maintain your stability, you're going to feel good, you're going to get things done. And always pat yourself on the back when you're doing that, but you're going to move through what you're responsible for and get things done in life. Now, focus also on important things, okay? So I like on that list, here's what I'm responsible for, here's what's important to me as well. So when you're spending your energy and time on what's important to you, what you're responsible for, you're getting the right things done. You know, and you're going to feel good about that. You ever work at something that you really shouldn't be doing, and you're going, why am I doing this? And you're done, you go, what the heck, man? But you don't feel good about it, you're just glad it's done. But when you're doing what you're responsible for and it's important to you, you celebrate life. You're getting things done, you're living. You know what I mean? That feels great. This puts you in charge of your life, okay? And that's the simplest process there could be. What am I responsible for? What am I for? Put your energy, take a break, go back at it, keep moving forward. So, repeating this process is going to do a couple things. One, it's going to result in you developing confidence in yourself. Man, I'm feeling good, I'm getting things done, it was my responsibility, I did it, you know, it was important to me, wow. And so your confidence, I can take charge, I can make things happen. You'll anticipate handling something well, or you will expect to learn something useful. You know, I'm going to anticipate doing it well. If it doesn't quite work out, I'm going to analyze. I'm not going to beat myself up. I'll analyze what went on. I'll learn, grow, get better, and it puts me better in charge. What was once stressful to you becomes this invigorating workout, man, like the professional athlete or getting out and working out. You become stress resistant. I'm telling you, you can take this in, process it, think about it, try it, and see if it works. So I'm telling you, I think it does. I can tell you, I got proof it does. I'm living it. I love it. So qualities to develop and strengthen your resiliency. I'm going to talk about qualities and characteristics of resilient people, things you can work on and develop. Okay, this is what's cool about resiliency. You can improve. You can do it. You can work at it. So let's talk about these qualities. Playful, childlike curiosity. Resilient people are like that, man. They can be like a child, they can be like an adult, but they never forget what it's like to be a child. So what do you know about children? They're curious, they laugh, they play. They love to learn how things work. You know, they take things apart, study that, put it back together and things like that, you know. They ask lots of questions. I don't know about you all, but sometimes when I've gotten older, I'm nervous about it. I don't know what it is. I stopped asking so many questions. You know, it's a good place to be to ask anything. Hey, I want to ask. That piques my interest. What's going on here? You know, sometimes we shut that down. It's an opportunity to learn, grow, get excited, you know, and learn something new. They can have a good time almost anywhere. Huh? Amen to that? Huh? Who said that? Amen to that? So, what's the storyline behind that? Anybody want to jump in that? What's that like, to have a good time almost anywhere? Is that tough to do?
No.
No? You like it? Yeah, and you got the right qualities, because sometimes people go, hey, what am I going to this? I said I'd go, you know, and then I've done it myself. I've done everything wrong at least once, so I don't mind, but I've gotten better. I don't mind saying that. So when I do that, and then I go, because I said I'm going to go, I get there, what was I complaining about? What's wrong with you, man? I beat myself up. Shape up. This is a good time, man. It's fantastic. You know, but there's something creeps in once in a while like that, you know? So anyway, they have a good time almost anywhere. They'll make something happen. They'll have a good time. They make mistakes. They get hurt, and then they laugh it off. You ever seen children, something goes on, you think it's the end of the world, and within a couple of minutes, hey, what the hell was next, you know? And they're ready to go. And and they just keep moving forward. Adults, sometimes they get, they harbor this stuff, they make a mistake, afraid to do anything again, I'll never do it again. They try it, you keep trying to get better. That's evolution. They counterbalance this tendency towards seriousness with a spirit of playfulness. They like to blend the two in. They do it better than anyone. And keep in mind, when you're in distressing situations, an ability to play and laugh, so to speak, at what is going on improves your chances of coping well. Keep that mind relaxed so you can think, come up with strategies, move through it, keep that playfulness. And that doesn't mean practical joking or joking around. Just keep a light heart and mind sometimes so you don't get the clamp on, you can't think. Your mind is able to absorb useful information and not become overwhelmed. And so something you can do is learn to make yourself laugh more, man. You look like a pretty cool group. I don't know that you don't laugh a bunch, but I'm just saying, if you need it, you can learn to make yourself laugh more so you don't have to rely on outside sources. Find that internal, joy and the laughter and stuff and the playfulness. So resilient people, they constantly learn from experience. They facilitate being changed by new or unexpected experiences. They see it as an opportunity. I got an opportunity to do this. I'm going to learn something new that's exciting. I'm going to check this out and embrace it. So, they ask questions like, what is the lesson here? What early clues did I ignore? This is after something goes on. What's the lesson here? What was I supposed to learn out of it? You ever do that? I've been doing it more and more because I embrace this thing. I'm going, okay, what was I supposed to learn today or out of this experience? And somebody remember that. So learning is good stuff, man. It helps you grow and evolve and makes you stronger. And so what early clues did I ignore? Why didn't I see this coming? What did I miss here? And not beat yourself up, but it's all about analysis. What's going on here? The next time that happens, I'll do exactly what I did. It worked out great. Or, maybe I'll do this. I can see where this might work better. So everything is a learning situation. I love this stuff. That's why I like talking to people with lived experience. What was it like for you to do this? Why should I have to experience it when I can ask them, tell me about it? I'm listening. I'll embrace it. I've always been that way. I like to hear people talk about stuff because why should I go out and have to have it all blow up on me? If something went on, you did well, or it didn't work out, I can hear about that. I'm taking it in. I hear you. And I'm going to use it in my life. So it's I love that analysis or learning from people with lived experience. So resilient people adapt quickly, they're mentally and emotionally flexible, and they're comfortable with those contradictory personality qualities, those paradoxical personality traits. You think it's easy to say, man? That's tough to say, man. That's so hard. I don't know how I did that, but anyway, this is like a jungle cat or something here, man, a wild animal in the jungle. They're ready to make things happen. They're comfortable out there. We might be all tense. But here's some other examples. They can be both strong and gentle. Isn't that nice, man? When I say that yourself in your mind, but when you say I'm strong, I feel a surge inner gentle, makes me relax. I want to be gentle. And you can be both. That's fantastic. They can be sensitive and tough. There's a time for sensitivity, there's a time to get a little tough here. Wait a minute, okay? And it's serious and fun and on. We went through that. They can think in negative ways to reach positive outcomes. When someone ever tells me to say, hey, you're thinking negatively, no, I'm just analyzing, I'm thinking about what could go wrong so I can avoid it. I like to, you get that group think in groups. I've been in groups before, hey, what if we did this? Oh, yeah. I'll always say, hey, I want one person to tell me how this thing could blow up on us. How could it not work? And they'll think, and they go, well, maybe we should do this. That's a good point. We didn't think about that. Or, yes, we did think about that. Thanks for that input. You don't want the group think. You know, it's good to look at this, be analytical, look at things all the way around, then move forward. And there it is. What could go wrong so it can be avoided? You know, that's just it's just a way of thinking. Resilient people have solid self-esteem and self-confidence. You know, and when I talk to groups, I don't mind I talk to kids, I talk to any age group, and this is always an issue. It doesn't matter what age anybody is, you know, self-esteem, self-confidence, I'm telling you, they're critical to being resilient. So I'm going to give you some examples why it's critical. Now, you know, self-esteem is how we feel about ourselves. Self-confidence is our history with ourselves and getting things done. You know, that's why I like that, take charge. You keep doing this, you get it done. I'm responsible, it's important. I'm getting it done. Gee, man, I feel good about that. My confidence is surging that I can take it on. You know, and the self-esteem is just how generally we feel about ourselves. And that's another topic for another day, how that evolves or how it becomes. But it can be improved if you have low self-esteem. It can be improved, okay? So think about this. These two things determine how much you learn after something goes wrong. If I have low self-esteem, low self-confidence, I try to do something that didn't work out, what is my response to that going to be? I'm probably going to go,
Quit.
I'm going to quit. I'm going to give up. I'm going to quit. I'm not going to do it. Thanks. That's why I like asking questions. Exactly. And so we're missing an opportunity here to move forward and learn something new because we quit. Why? Because I don't feel good about myself. What's new? It always happens to me. I usually can't get things done. And we're missing an opportunity to analyze what went wrong, learn and grow from it, and become stronger. Out of adversity, we can grow stronger. We learn something. So it allows you to receive compliments and praise. What if you do something good? Or so when somebody comes to you and says, hey, you did a good job on that. I'm throwing that out to anybody. What would be your reaction to that?
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else? Is it
Maybe I could have done it a different way and made it better.
See, I like you taking that, here we go with the flip-flop side. I like to, look, when I teach, I do it wide open, man. It's a Socratic. Because I'm going to say, is it possible that somebody would say, hey, I don't believe what they're saying. I don't think I did. There's that inner voice in there with that low self-esteem that says, no, you can do better. You're not doing well. I do a lot of talks on self-esteem. It's in that list of stuff too. But I appreciate you saying that. And so that can be happening. If you have low self-esteem and low self-confidence, somebody says, hey, you did a good job, and that voice creeps in, you're going to miss the opportunity to go, man, I feel good about that. Because why? That voice is saying, you can't believe that. What are they talking about? So we're missing that opportunity to feel that goodness and develop our self-esteem, self-confidence. They're a buffer against hurtful statements. Someone says something toward you that they don't like about you or it's hurtful. You know, how do you react to that? How do you react to that? Someone says, hey, I don't like what you did here. It really is, I don't like it, it's no good.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
I'm sorry you feel that way?
Yeah.
And what else?
I would probably ask them what makes them think that.
Yeah, what makes you say that?
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, be
More
more
about that.
specific.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
so
want
I
to
can
understand
their
it and take,
statement.
okay, what else? Anybody
Well,
else?
I-
That says more about you than it does about me.
What's that?
That
You
says
said-
more about you than it does
Oh, I
about me.
like that. It says more about you. Yes, because most people would say, hey, that's encouraging, or, you know, I want to give you some constructive feedback if you want to hear it.
I file it away.
You file it away. Okay, okay. So look, resilient people are going to do this. They're going to take that statement in because they got good self-esteem, self-confidence. They're going to say, hey, I'm going to study what that person's saying, and they'll probably ask for more information so they can really understand what they mean by it. Then they're going to say, let me compare that with what I feel about myself, not being boastful, but being legitimate. You want to be solid and stable and do good work. And say, you know, and if it's really meant to be hurtful, they'll take it in. They'll go back and say, look, I thought about what you said, and I'm just here to tell you I disagree completely with you. I feel good about myself. I like what I did. Or they'll go back and say, you know what, I took that in, and you made a point there, and I appreciate your input, you know, and they're not gonna take it. Sometimes people hear things different, you know, resilient people might hear something and go, okay, let me understand what they're saying, it's not gonna fall apart and get worked up and get down on it, they're gonna just go, let me study it. But other people with low self-esteem, self-confidence, it can tear them down, and maybe it's something legitimate even, but it can work them up. So, anyway, just food for thought. It makes you receptive to constructive criticism. You know, I think we've gone over that a little bit. Someone says the same thing. Hey, I think you could do this. Sometimes people with low self-esteem, they get worked up. Oh my gosh, I'm being attacked. But no, they're really just making a comment. So it's important. You're missing an opportunity to learn, grow, and evolve with some of the stuff. So something you can do, another potential game, make a list of all the things you like and appreciate about yourself. Make a list of all the things you like and appreciate about yourself. You know that? And then practice positive talk about you. Be legitimate. I like what I do. I like my characteristic on that. Do it. And sometimes, look, I've heard some people, they say, I can't think of anything. That's a bad place to be. I mean, I'm not laughing about that. I feel bad about that. So I want to help you. You know, but, and so as a group, hey, here's a tip. As a group, as a community, we should all be going out and say, you know, I really like your smile, I like what you said at that meeting, I like what you did here. Why not shed some positive thoughts about each other, build people up, and tell them these things, you know, so we need to be more, we need to put that out there, positive talk about people. So resilient people, they can develop healthy, loving relationships. I'm talking a decent, healthy, supportive relationship. So what's good about that? I mean, that's valuable. They make you more stress resistant, less likely to get sick. You know, when you have someone you can go talk to, open up, share information, or, you know, I was telling Emily that my mind just went blank, man. Carolyn, I don't know why, my daughter's name is Carolyn, I don't know why I couldn't, my mind went blank.
That's why.
That's pretty bad, I'm sorry. But you know, when you have people you can go talk to, open up, share information, and connect with, you know, that can help you feel better. You know, that's good stuff. It's healthy. And you feel comfortable. You know they're going to listen, understand, and care. And that's it. We talked about that gatekeeper training. This is exactly what that stuff is. Just having supportive people in a community that observe people and check on them. Hey, what are you feeling? What are you experiencing? What's going on? Care about you. And so, you know, you feel connected. Less vulnerable to distressing conditions. You know, if something's going on, it's distressing, it's bothering you, you're less vulnerable to it because you have someone you can talk to. It diminishes the impact of difficulties. Again, you have someone you know you can go to. There's support. You're not alone. You know, I love this little thing I text to people a lot when they're in distress. I go, you're never alone. You're never alone. You know, so I'm reaching out, you reach out, we'll talk. It increases your feelings of self-worth and self-confidence. Okay? You can see that, you know, when you have supportive people that care about one another. When I'm around Carolyn and Emily just today, I feel better. They gave me some good energy. I'm saying they're great people, man, they're supportive. We're going to build a future together and do some things together. That's what makes it good. So, there's a picture there. That one always gets everybody a little nice. Yeah.
Self-satisfied.
That's some of that stuff there. You like that? Yeah. All right. That's right. It's a dolphin. Yeah, that's a dolphin jumping out of the water. All right. We're going to see a surge in the calls to RRCS.
Yeah, I don't like it. And I'm a dog.
This is what I love about doing this presentation, man. This is the enjoyment of it here. So, resilient people. You heard me say this in that coping, the emotional reaction patterns, put your feelings out in a useful way. Resilient people can express their feelings in a useful way. They don't blow up. They think about what they're feeling. They don't mind putting it out there and sharing it with the right people. They don't have to put it out to everybody. So they can express anger, love, dislike, appreciation, grief, whatever they're feeling. They can put it out there, they do it openly and honestly, all right? Now they also know, look, timing's everything. You can't just go out and say, I'm feeling this, I'm gonna tell everybody right now. You gotta find the right people, the right time, and put your feelings out there. If you're asked, they don't mind saying, well, this is what I think, this is what I feel, you know, on and on and on. So they can choose to suppress feelings when they believe it would be best to do so. Timing is critical. And just, you know, it's one slide, but please, you know, when you're, this is why I like with the gatekeeper thing. You always ask, what are you feeling, what are you experiencing? You know, you want to get that out. But if people don't do that, it's good to be able to say, you know, have the self-esteem, the self-confidence. I want to get my feelings out at the right time, with the right people. And you know, if you need a counselor, get a counselor. But get the stuff out. You know, you're feeling something, find someone to share that with. And express it. You know, that's important to do. You don't want that bottled up. So, resilient people read others with empathy. I'm going to go back to that lived experience thing with this, man. I love to listen to people show empathy, but I want to hear your story. You know, what happened to you? What's it like being you? You know, I do that with middle schoolers. What's it like being a 7th grader? What's it like being this or whoever, whatever? And listen, because they'll tell you about what's going on in their life. And I mean, it's great, and you can take it in, understand it, digest it, and you care. So resilient people, they do see things through the perspective of others. You know, tell me how do you see this? I want to know, man. There's something to be learned here, for one thing, all right? And even if you're doing counseling, you got to be in that spot right there. You know, what's it like being you? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you experiencing? How am I going to help you move forward if I don't even know where you're at? You know, so it's the same in a relationship or in life. It's a great place to find out what's going on. What do others think and feel? What is it like to be them? How do they experience me? You know, that's important. A lot of people, they just talk and talk and talk. You know, I always like to think, I hope I'm coming across and connecting. If I'm not, I need to modify or change, because the deal is to connect. What is legitimate about what they feel, say, and do? If there's something legitimate, there's an understanding there that makes sense. If not, I like to always go, hey, how's that working for you? You know, I've done that a lot in the counseling work or other work I did in probation and parole. To say, you think, how is that thinking working for you? Well, you know, it's not working out too good right now. Well, let's talk about that and see what we can do. You know, you don't shut the door and say, hey, you got forget it. Let's see if we can change. You know, so that's a beautiful place to be. So empathy. Mentally healthy people do see how things work from another person's point of view. You know, if you're, I always like, I don't mean to be judgmental, but if you're around people, they don't care what you think, they don't care what you feel, they don't want to connect like that. I mean, I gotta put the long line. You know, I remember in the counseling stuff before, people say, close relationships, there's a short line on a diagram. People that are not healthy, they're on a long line. You know, you're not going to be around them. You're going to distance yourself. So you want to be around people that want to understand you, care about you, listen to you. It's a two-way street, back and forth. You know, it's healthy. It's healthy. You work to comprehend how things look from another person's viewpoint. There's something to be learned. How do they think? What's going on here? And then what's legitimate, like we said. This does not mean you agree or approve. It just means that you understand. And remember that statement I made earlier, man. It's a real trigger for people when they don't feel like they're understood. Take the time. What's it like to be you? What are you feeling? What are you experiencing? You want to hear it, you know, because it's a real trigger for people if they're not. Nobody listens to me. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to understand. You know, that can result in people getting angry, feeling disconnected, isolated, stuff like that. So what is to be learned from thinking as they do? It's an opportunity to learn and understand and get involved. So resilient people use intuition and creative hunches. This may sound like Twilight Zone stuff here, but it's important, and I think you'll understand this. They accept subliminal perception and intuition is valid, useful sources of information, okay? I'll give you examples. What is my body telling me? Anybody ever been trying to make a decision, something's going on, and your body reacts? You know, you know when you feel good about something, you know when you feel bad about it. I can remember times in my life I was trying to make a decision about a job change one time. I said, I'm going to do this. And then I thought later, I said, oh my gosh, I was getting sick feeling, horrible feeling, and a little depressed. And what kind of a reaction is that? So I finally thought about it, and I said, what's going on? I called him and said, hey, I'm out. I'm not doing it. And he didn't like it, but it's the best move I ever made in my life. I can tell you that right now. So it's a, you know, listen to that body, take it in and feel it and process it. Did that daydream mean anything? You know, daydream, you're not fully asleep. You know, people talk about dreams, and that's all fine and dandy, but sometimes when you're half asleep, your mind is relaxed. Think about that, engage and relax. And you're trying to figure out a problem, I'm going at it, serious as can be. I take a break, and I'm relaxed, and my mind didn't stop working. All of a sudden, ding, I think I got the solution, man. So I wake up, or come out of that and go, hey, I'm feeling pretty good. I think I figured something out. My mind just kept working. Because I was relaxed, rest and recover a little bit, but it came out. Instead of going at it all tense, it came out. So you need to think about that. Did that mean anything? You know, what is that? Why don't I believe what I'm being told? You know, hey, someone gives you some information. I like analysis. I like to take in what they're saying, process it. Does that make sense? Let me understand where they're coming from. When it doesn't jive, I mean, I got to say, hey, I'm missing something here. Go back, figure it out, or why don't I believe I'm being told? I don't blindly just follow something. I want to understand it and embrace it. You know what I mean? So, think about that. What if I did this instead? You know, they're solution oriented. They can analyze and come up with plans and move forward. So, you know, just not trying to stir things up. You know, you like to be on a team, but you know, what if we did this different? What if we did this instead? Would that help us? You know. So, a key slide. This is for you all. You guys all right? Everything good?
Yeah.
Am I on time or I'm almost done, right? Yeah.
Great.
I'm right at the end. If you're getting worn out with me, I'm ready to go another couple hours to tell you the truth. You guys are a great group, man. So anyway, maintaining your emotional stability, your health, and your well-being. You know, this is critical to sustaining your health and energy, your overall health and well-being. It's all tied in there. So this is what this presentation is about, really. It's about that. And so remember this, some tips, Al's tips. Rest and recover and develop that good energy. Go at the stuff. Get your mind working, but when you need a break, take that break, man. Take a break, relax, calm down, rest and recover, and then go back at it with that good energy and a good spirit. Accentuate the positive. Try to always find the positive in whatever's going on, you know. And believe me, even if it's, hey, that didn't work out at all like I wanted it to, but I learned something from it. I'll never do that again. I'm going to do this instead. I'm not going to do the insanity thing and just keep doing it and grind myself up. Hey, wow, you know, hey, I'm glad I saw that, you know. I'll make a change. Express your feelings in a useful way. Get around people you can do that, or just acknowledge it to yourself. This is what what am I feeling about that? This is what I feel about that. Let me analyze that. I feel good about that. You know, if you need to research it. Maybe change the way you think or something. But if you believe in it, embrace it, know it, carry it forward. Carry it forward. Take time to do something you enjoy. Think about that good energy. I enjoy doing it. How many times I'm talking to myself once in a while. I get going doing this, and I enjoy this, but I got some other things I like to enjoy, and sometimes I don't get to that. So, you know, I got this work stuff. I got to say this. I never saw work as work. I love doing what they call work. I'm fortunate with that. I love it as much as my free time. But, there's other things we might want to enjoy and do something. So make a point to do that. Take care of business. do your stuff, and then go do some things you enjoy. What's important to me, I need to do some of that. Do it. Pat yourself on the back when you do it. Laugh and play, feel happy. I can't tell you how to feel, but if you laugh and play, find that inner happiness and that kind of thing. You know the piece I'm talking about. And I love this, help others to help themselves. And so let me ask you this. What do you think I mean by that? What does that say to you? You guys are an incredible group. What does that say to you? What's the possibilities?
Encourage others to enjoy themselves and do things.
Encourage others
Yeah.
to do things and enjoy life?
Yeah.
And so sometimes, what do you think? Sometimes we do stuff for other people? Or should we just be a voice and say, hey, you need to go out and do things and enjoy life? Or sometimes we doing it for them?
No,
let's go.
We need
Something,
to,
you know,
we need
to
to
encourage
benefit
them
you
to
or,
participate.
So you're saying to somebody, come on, let's go, let's do something? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, get moving and do something, right?
Yeah, get out of
Okay.
your house, get away from the YouTube.
Yeah,
Get me in
okay.
this group today.
Yeah, I got
I
it.
mean, they would get a
Find
lot
the
out of it.
things that other people are doing well and tell them they're doing it well and encouraging them to do more of it.
I like it. You're gonna be an ambassador for this
Sometimes,
resiliency thing.
sometimes it means you throw them in over their head.
Okay, get them involved and do some things. I'm not loving it. You know, because look, my thought, I'm sorry,
I just said, make them feel good.
make,
Yeah.
Make the other people feel good, that's, you know.
Yes.
we can do that by sharing with them what we feel about what they're doing and help them feel. We can never, I gotta say this, I don't think we can work to make people feel good and hear some things, you know what I mean? So they gotta feel it, and so whatever that takes. I hear you, loud and clear. So the one thing I always think of this too, when I'm talking to groups, I'll tell you a short story, but I always figure sometimes people are doing things for others, so you wanna help others, we're getting ourselves, I wanna do what I'm responsible for, I wanna do what's important to me. If I got other responsibilities or kids or whatever, I like evolving leadership, evolve people to get things done, do things for themselves. So what do I hear sometimes? People are doing this, they won't do that. So you want to evolve people to help themselves and that kind of thing, evolve them to where they can live this resiliency stuff and enjoy life to the fullest, right? And it then frees up your time to do the things you're responsible for, things that are important to you, and that kind of thing. So look at your life, figure it out, and I love it. Everything everybody says is fantastic. I love the input. So develop support systems. Find those healthy friends, get around groups, whatever it takes to have healthy support systems that you feel good in. And I always say this, if somebody needs more than that, they need help, you know, there's no crime in going to counseling and talking to somebody, you know? If you're having a tough time finding somebody to listen to you and understand you, get a therapist you like. I refer people all the time, and they enjoy the relationship. They benefit from it, and they feel better. They feel heard, they feel understood, and it goes from there, and on and on. So I'm just putting it out there. I don't know anybody, I'm just putting the stuff out there. Make sure you take care of yourself and enjoy that life. So when you do that, this should be you right here, man. You know what I mean? This should be you right here. You can lay back, feel at peace, and the daydreams are meaning something, and getting rest and recover, plus they're enjoying life. Okay? Does that make sense? Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Do you see any significance in the fact that your audience is almost exclusively female?
Being the resilient.
In other words, does that mean that men are not interested in being resilient or incapable of learning how to be resilient?
Yeah.
What does it tell you about? I mean, it's extraordinary.
It's a gorgeous day.
I mean, here am I, all on my own.
Maybe on the golf course.
Well, the
but I
three
wanna
men
do
are all
it.
gathered
Aren't
defensively.
men
I'm sliding over here. I'm going back to the Yeah, no, I'm not going to touch it too deep, but I'm going to tell you, recently I've had this cross my mind when I look at profession like social work, mental health work, even the prevention work I'm in. When I go to meetings, I look around and I see there's not that many males in the work I do. And, you know, so there's something, I'm not gonna overanalyze, I can come up with a lot of things to say, but you're here because you wanna connect. Maybe there's a difference by gender, you know, being open with their feelings or things like that, wanting to evolve or wanting to stick to what they do. I don't know the complete answer to that, but it would be a great study.
Well,
You may have an
you
answer.
remember that terrible accident in Wales at Aberfan, when a village was destroyed by a landslide? In the weeks that followed, the women all wailed and lamented. The men kept it in, and then a year later, the men started having nervous breakdowns.
Yeah, that is a strong possibility, because this is about
Nurturing or nurturing.
opening up with emotions, putting your stuff out on the table, and a lot of times, I think historically, you've seen where females are more likely to get involved in counseling or groups. Males are more, they stand themselves into that, and they have trouble opening up. I'm hearing you, and I've
Yeah.
seen that in the past, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I hear you, I hear you.
Way back.
So, I'll celebrate all the people here, and it's mostly females, I'm glad you're here, and you're learning to be resilient, and spread the word, you know? You see anybody, tell them about it. I'll do the presentation here anywhere you want it done, okay? All right.
Thank you.
So, no, I want to thank you. I want to thank Carolyn and Emily for having me here. And, you know, I don't mind, I know we're running out of time, but I hope you find this useful, something you use. If you're not using it, use it. If you're already using it, celebrate, pat yourself on the back, okay? Thank you all.
Thank you very much. People were telling me as I'm coming up here, it was very good, it was very good.
Good.
And it was very, very, very helpful.
Mission accomplished.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. I love it.
And we'd love to have you come back anytime too, and I'm sure other groups might enjoy it as well. So
I'm here,
pass it
sorry.
on along, and we hope to have it on Channel 18, so.
Maybe that's when the guys will watch it when it's on TV.
Hey, you guys are trying to get me in trouble. Oh my God,
Well, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I'm sure Alan wouldn't mind you staying and chatting with them if you
Yeah, I'll
want
be
to
here
share
in a
something.
moment. Look at some of those other presentations. I think there's some good information in there for you.
Giving out your card.